Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring the Beyond Corny Groń Adventurer's Guide. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review, featuring this Polish folklore-inspired sandbox setting and toolkit, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to continue with the factions. We have the Eldritch Court. For all the human rules laying their claims to the Carpathian Valley, the land is the domain of the Marsana and Skarbek as well. A powerful Yaga and Chort, the pair considers themselves rulers of all small folk, goblins and other Viesi north of the great Danuba River. They consider themselves to be quite superior, but the audacity of human actions in their domain and the elusive but undoubted presence of the legendary mountain spirit makes many Carpathian Viesi very reserved about their supreme status. This faction wants to do things such as destroy mortals who cannot be subjugated or displaced from Carpathy, or perhaps freeze the entire world. This faction doesn't want to harm children, ironically, and it doesn't want to let mortals discover magical secrets and powers. Then we have Yurko Janisek's outlaws. Carpathy have harbored and still are harboring many bold outlaws and rebels who have been living heroes of folk tales and legends for centuries. Some were the bravest, some were the nimblest, and some were the most beautiful. But all the storytellers agreed that there has never been a greater highwayman than Yurko Janisek, who does neither kneel nor bow to anyone. Depending on who is asked, Janisek is a heroic outlaw and benefactor who distributes the gold taken from the rich to the poor people of the Carpathian Valley, or an audacious thug who has found an easy way to build a fortune by living a life of crime in a politically unstable region. His faction wants to do things such as live wonderfully and freely, or subjugate other outlaw leaders. The faction doesn't want to submit to anyone, and they don't want to reveal the source of Janisek's secret powers. Then we have Krakogrod Academy. It is a sanctuary of knowledge and reason. Its splendor became overshadowed by the Danubian University of Villainous, a rival institution founded less than 100 years ago by the grandfather of the current empress, Leopold Dunburg. The venerable academy in the declining commonalty constantly diminishes its significance in the arena of natural and supernatural studies in this part of the continent. This faction wants to weaken the reputation of the Danubian University and to make its staff the target of ridicule in the academia, or perhaps obtain funds for the restoration and expansion of the academy. This faction doesn't want to see religious superstitions thriving in the Carpathy Valley, or see one of their students claim and seize the results of scientific research in the Carpathy. Then we have the Krakogrod Autocephalous Exarchate. This is a powerful church that is trying to maintain its influence in the Carpathy Valley. For hundreds of years, it has been painstakingly trying to convert the locals to the cult of the Holy Lady. Now, with the mountain land becoming the domain of the Exarchate of Styria, Eleanor Angela Dunburg has both the religious power as well as an efficient state apparatus to use for converting and reinforcing the love of the sun in the local population. This faction seeks to keep the inhabitants of Carpathy faithful to the Holy Lady, and subjugate the Carpathian Viesi as servants of the Holy Lady. This faction doesn't want to let Empress Eleanor control the Carpathy, and it doesn't want turmoils in the valley to interfere with doing business in the lowlands. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part, I am going to talk about the many tables contained in this book, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this entire sandbox setting / toolkit. I like how all of the factions have potential when it comes to alliances, enmities. You can pit them against each other. Perhaps they are enemies of the player characters, perhaps even patrons, like patron organizations. Regardless, each one of these factions could serve as the focus for an entire campaign, but I think it's much more fun to use 2 or even more of them in a single campaign. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.